Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Here to inspire, enlighten. It always happens. I clear my throat before I start, and then I got to do it again. Inspire, enlighten, and build up humanity. And that humanity is you. My 1,387 subscribers. Thank you for joining me here. And I'm sure you'll find something that will inspire your life and make it a little easier. Well, maybe not easier, but will give you the strength to endure and make you come out on the other side better in character and integrity. Because true success lies in contentment and peace of mind. And if you achieve any success in any other way than using character and integrity, honesty, you may have what the world calls success, but you won't have true success because it won't be accompanied by contentment and peace of mind. Contentment is good, and we should be content to the point where we're okay and happy and grateful with what we have, but with a desire to want more. But your desire to want more should not be so strong that it takes away your ability to be content and grateful with what you have. But that's not the topic I'm going on today. I'm getting off on a rabbit trail. The topic is today, modern women. And the reason I brought this up is I was getting a haircut yesterday. And this lady cutting my hair, I'm going to guess she's, 32, 35, maybe 36. Pretty face. Her she's overweight like most women in America. Not a lot compared to most women, but compared to what she should be, maybe, 25, 35, 40 pounds, something like that. But she has a pretty face and a pretty nice personality. I was talking to her yesterday. Well, I discovered a little bit about her. She was telling me how she was able to beat up her brother. And what did she say? I think she said that she could beat up any man. Or maybe not any man, but basically what she was telling me was she could stand up to any man. And she had knocked her brother's teeth out, and a couple other things. And I'm like, they must be a bunch of beta bitches if you're able to beat them up. But she is of the mind, as are many modern women, that they're just like a man. They can fight like a man, they can work like a man, and they should be treated just like a man. So I was telling her, I said, who supports the nation? Who goes out at night and fixes the lines, the wires when the storms come and knock them down? The men do. Who builds the skyscrapers? The men do. Who maintains the infrastructure? The men do. She said, well, I know a lot of women who are carpenters and electricians. And I said, well, it's way less than 1%. I said, if the men quit working, I said, the system would fail and then women would need men. I don't need a man. Well, now she has 3 kids, and I'll bet you your bottom dollar that she's getting child support. Okay, and she just broke up with her boyfriend, so he was living with her, so I assume he was probably paying. Well, I don't want to assume, only a fool assumes. But I would guess he was paying part of the bills. These women, but she's not unique, and I'm not blaming her. They're raised up in a society that tells women they don't need men. I told her, I said, women need men and men need women. Without women, we couldn't procreate, and our humanity, our society, our culture, everything would die out. Which in a way it is dying out here in the States. The American or the Caucasian or whatever you want to call him, he's not breeding as much as he was. The Muslims are here, they're breeding a lot more than the so-called Americans, the Caucasians or African Americans, or the people who, have been here for the last 100 or 200 years or so, maybe 300 years. But I'm not a history buff, so I'm not quite sure about the stats on that. But I do know that we're opting out of marriage and we're opting out of having kids, and I understand why. And this woman was saying, well, here's how it works. The man and the women, the man works and the woman works, and they both equally share. That's not verbatim, but that's what she was leading to. And I'm like, No, I said, a man protects and provides, and the woman stays home and takes care of the kids. Now, that's an ideal. But I know a lot of people say I'm like a misogynist. What rock did you crawl off from underneath? Are you from the 13th century? And I told her, I said, well, okay, then let's say we go with your route. The man works, the woman works. Who's raising the kids? Some minimum wage daycare worker. And they're putting their morals, their ideals, and their way of living into them. And let's see how well that's working out. We have kids killing kids in school, and we have women who are showing themselves on social media before they even get to be 18 years old to get money from men. It's almost like open prostitution. All they have to do is say they're 18 and then it's okay. Our society is crumbling moralistically. And I believe one of the main reasons is because we don't have a family unit. The family unit, the structure of the family, is the heart of the government. Excuse me. If that falls apart, then our government, look at our government. I'm almost 62 years old now. Governments have always been corrupt, but this is so blatantly, openly corrupt and nobody does anything about it. So the family falls apart, the nation falls apart. And our families are falling apart. 50% divorce rates. And look at the way people take care of themselves nowadays. It's like Dan Payne said the other day. I was watching him, and he was having a conference, and he said, 40 years ago, you guys would have been here dressed in suits and ties. But of course, now they're dressed in just common clothes, blue jeans, maybe a pair of khakis. That shows us a lack of self-respect, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. I mean, you can dress however you want to. I don't care. I dress the way I want to dress. You can dress however you want to. But what I'm saying is we've become so casual, so relaxed. Do they dress that way in the Army? No, there's a certain attitude that goes along with being sharply dressed. Now, you don't have to wear a suit and a tie to be sharply dressed. There are many ways to dress without wearing a suit and a tie and still be sharply dressed. But now people don't really care, at least here in the Western world, America, I know. I go to the airports, I can tell the people from the States compared to maybe the people from Japan or from certain parts of Latin America. They just dress differently, and it shows a self-respect. And I've said this many times before, people take better care of their cars and dress their cars up better than they do themselves. Well, I know what you're going to say. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Well, maybe you shouldn't, but everybody does. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. This is very important. You get treated differently when you dress differently. You get treated with more respect when you show that you respect yourself enough to dress yourself up sharp. And you don't have to be in great shape. You don't have to be perfect. It's like when I see a woman who is really overweight and she dresses nice, she wears makeup, she fixes her hair. I'm thinking of one right now. I have more respect for that lady and I'm not attracted to overweight girls. Some guys are. But because she shows a self-respect by making the most out of what she has. And that works for everyone. Sure, I know the personality shines through what a person looks like, but many times you could tell a person's personality by how they take care of themselves, how they dress themselves. I was thinking the other day, when was the last time I saw a modern woman, brushing her hair? And the reason I thought of that is because I was with a girl. It was my ex-girlfriend. We spent the weekend together in Cancun, had a great time. Okay, but I saw her brushing her hair. And her hair is beautiful. It's shiny, it's black, and she really takes care of it. And that's the one thing I like about this girl. She takes care of her body, she takes care of her hair, she wears makeup, not too much, but she looks good, she carries herself well. And I like that. But I thought to myself, I don't know when the last time I saw a girl in the U.S. brushing or combing her hair was. It's been years. And I'm out a lot. Even the stewardess on the airplanes that I fly on, I went to Orlando a few weeks back and I went to Cancun. their hair is like kind of knotty back there. It's like, it looks like they brush it when they get up in the morning, and maybe they brush it before they go to bed. I don't know. But see, I remember a time when women were always fixing their hair. Well, when I was a kid, and I've talked about this a lot of times, you guys that are younger, you don't know any different. So you've accepted this because this is the way it is. You don't know the contrast. But when I grew up, the women went to the beauty shop once a week and got their hair fixed. And they always wore a skirt or slacks. The only time I saw my mother dressed in jeans was when she was going fishing or hunting. Yes, my mother liked to hunt and fish. Maybe she was kind of a tomboy. Well, my neighbor's pulling some things there. But the point is here, modern women have become so relaxed, and it's like they feel like the girl said that was cutting my hair, woman, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. They grow up with social media, news media, and the feminist movement telling them they don't need a man. Well, that's like me saying I don't need a woman. Okay, well, I've had 10 kids. One was adopted. How would I have ever had those kids without a woman? It would have been pretty damn hard to do, wouldn't it? Yeah, there you go. So for me to say, now I don't need a woman to survive. That's a little different there as well. A woman does need a man. Well, now in the U.S., I call this the illusion we've created. Men have created the illusion by making it so comfortable and safe and nice for women that they actually don't need a man to live directly. Now they need a man to support them. I thought he was like just going to drive down the road, but he must be backing up. Okay. So we'll try to get through this. They need a man to maintain the systems and the structures that men have put in place to give them the illusion that they don't need a man. But it is correct, they don't need a man directly. I could stop and keep, maybe we'll just wait a second. I think he's parking his truck. He's a great guy. He's a Mexican guy, keeps his yard beautiful, and he is a fastidious guy. He's always doing something. He's really a good neighbor. At least he doesn't have his weed blower going this morning. He keeps his yard really good too. Okay, back to women and illusion. So in the U.S., they don't really need a man directly. But as I said, if the men did not maintain the structures, the infrastructures, these systems that are set in place to maintain this illusion that a woman doesn't need a man, then she would be begging for a strong, masculine, or some of them call it toxic masculine man. They just don't know it. We have just made everything so comfortable here, which is obvious by the 70% overweight and obese statistics we have here. And that's not just the women, that's the men also. But it is frustrating because you can't convince these people that this is the way things are because they're taught this as they grow up from their parents, social media. Now she has 3 kids, this woman does. And she was talking about how she's strong and she's hard on them. And, because she knows there's not a father involved in her life or whatever. There is a father in the picture somewhere because she mentioned him. But how could she have had those kids if she didn't have a man? I guarantee you those kids are going to grow up and they're going to stand up to her one day because she's a woman. And they will not listen to her the same way they would listen to a man. I know because my boys here have got up in my face. They all did it once. And that's the only time they ever did it. They have to learn to respect authority. I was afraid of my dad. He never had to hit me. He used to whip my ass when I was younger. And it didn't keep me from doing things wrong when I got older, but it did help me respect the law. I was afraid of the law. Unlike some of these men nowadays where they get shot and killed because the police tell them to stop and they just keep going because they're not afraid. They have no respect of the law. And then they get killed and then everybody throws a bitch fit about the cops killing the criminals or the guys that wouldn't listen to them. I guarantee you draw a gun down on me, and unless you're a criminal and I think you're going to kill me anyway, I'm going to stop and do what you tell me to do. Now I'm referencing that to police telling me what to do. But the point I'm making, if you grow up in a house without a masculine dominant, not domineering, but a dominant presence, a boy, he gets those teenage years and he's going to defy authority. And as the authority, as the man in the house, you have got to keep these kids going straight. What do they say? That fathers keep their sons out of jail and their daughters off of stripper poles. I mean, look around at what we have now. We have many, many promiscuous women even flaunting it. We have this Cardi B talking about WAP. I mean, and kids watching this and thinking, oh, well, that's what I'll do. I'll use that to get what I want. They need a father to tell them, hey, you can do that and that works. But here's what's going to happen. Just like the lady I was talking to yesterday, she can't find a good man. What a surprise. They all just want to play games. What a surprise. Now this woman was probably hot when she was around in her 20s, in her power, in her prime, in her highest sexual market value part of her life. Okay, and she married a guy, but for some reason they split up, and I just about bet, well, I don't know why they split up, but she had that man, she should have stayed with him, unless he was an abuser, but she talked about him enough that I don't think he was. She never mentioned anything like that, but I don't know, so I could be wrong. But the point I'm making is, here she is, a single mother, 3 kids, and now there's no man to help her. And she says, I don't need a man. She's probably taking some welfare too. That's a lot of them do that. She doesn't make that much money cutting hair, so she may be getting aid also. That's another system that was set in place by men. What's the solution to this? Do you think I would take that woman out? No, I wouldn't. First off, she's not in good enough shape. Second, when she starts talking like that, she's the independent, strong woman. Okay, you got 3 kids, you're cutting hair. How much money can you possibly make? Not that much. Tell me she don't need a man. She needs someone to help her. Okay, but no, she doesn't need a man. That's that pride and that arrogance. The older she gets, depends what she gonna do. She's not gonna be able to find a good man. She can't find one now. They all play games. Well, she was playing games back when she was younger, when she had her time to find a good man, and apparently she did. She was married, but then that broke up. 50% of marriages end in divorce. 70% are initiated by the woman. So that's what you got with modern women today. And you younger guys in your 30s, 20s, 40s even, you don't know how different it was. Women are always women, of course. They weren't, I gotta say they were different back then than they are now. They probably had a lot of the same character traits, but it's more magnified now. I'd say, I guess really women are the same, but their hypergamy, let's say, is magnified more now because of the options they have. So it's up to you to learn game, to become the man that all women want to be with, and the man that all men want to be like. Because in the US today, there is not much competition if you're a man, and you're a masculine man, and you've got some game. You know, money, muscles, game, frame. Now, a lot of guys, when you say game, they think, oh, God, I want to play games. Well, life is a game. You better learn how to play it. And now, when I say game when it comes to women, I'm not talking about laying a bunch of bullshit on them and lying to them. I'm talking about being yourself. Oh, but that doesn't work. I've tried that. But you weren't really being yourself. You have to become the self that you like, that you want to be, the man you admire. Who's the man out there that you admire? Become that man. And then you just be yourself. Because if you approach a woman with a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of lines, a bunch of crap that isn't you, she's going to see through that pretty quick. That may get your foot in the door, that may get you laid, but that's not going to get you nothing but heartache. And she's going to be disappointed too when she finds out you're not what you present yourself to be. So become that man. Become that man in the top 1%. It's really not that hard. What stops you? Your fear. Because there are good women here in the U.S. Maybe they're few and far between, but they're out there. But you got to become that good man. You notice I didn't say that nice guy. That good man that treats the women the way they want to be treated, not the way you think you want to be treated, not treat them as you want to be treated. but treat them the way they want to be treated. Never listen to what a woman says, just like this woman yesterday. She talks all this bullshit, but what does she respond to? What is she attracted to? What keeps her attracted to a man? What keeps her involved with a man? It's probably not what she says, but you gotta watch what she does. Always judge a woman by what she does, not by what she says. Because women are emotional creatures. They change. They change like the seasons. No, mostly like you change your underwear, probably. If you change it every day, let's hope so. All right, I'm going to stop there. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for joining me. If you would like to get my help personally, you can contact me at my website, marksinspiration.com, or my emails in the description. Stay tuned tonight. We are having a great show with Lawrence D. Adams. We're going to talk about the spiritual and metaphysical aspects of dating, game, masculinity, and life. So take care, smash that like button, and subscribe. Do it right now or you will forget. See you tomorrow.